I gotta tell you, my eyes are glued to Shane O'Mac right now. You never know what the hell this guy's gonna do.
He's put his body on the line time and time again, and that's something the fans have come to expect from him.
And respect about him, too. Shane O'Mac will stop at nothing to entertain the WWE fans.
Shane McMahon might not be a full-time superstar, but every time he steps into the ring, he makes an impact.
Not for nothing, I'm glad that Shane-O doesn't compete every week, or else he'd be in a wheelchair by now. This kid don't know the meaning of taking it easy.
He certainly doesn't. We've seen him risk life and limb time and again. Will we see it again here tonight?
You can feel the electricity in the air when Shane O'Mac is in that ring.
And with good reason. I can't think of another billionaire's son who puts his body on the line the way Shane does. You know, Taz, Shane is Vince McMahon's heir. He doesn't need to take the risks that he does.
Everybody's looking for him to do something totally nuts. Yeah, but he does, and he does it to entertain the fans of the WWE.
So, Taz, is it strange to sit here and watch yourself in the ring like this?
Nah, I've watched plenty of my tapes over the years. And you don't get better if you don't try to figure out what you've got to work on.
And what have you come up with so far?
Honestly, nothing. I gotta say, I look great. You see that look of intensity on Taz's face? That's all about getting in your opponent's head and psyching him out. That's how Taz wins matches. God, this is weird. I'm Taz.
Taz, why in God's name are you referring to yourself in the third person?
Hey, look, I'm trying to objectively analyze the match here. Do you mind? I know it's a perfect match, but I gotta do my job. I'm the best.
I've got to say, folks, Taz looks to be in great shape here tonight.
Hey, thanks, Cole. I appreciate that. You know, you're not looking too shabby yourself, but not for nothing. You gotta work on those legs a little bit. Last time I seen legs like yours, they were hanging out of a nest. Ha 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 ha! Chicken legs!
Actually, I was referring to your performance in this match, Taz. You might want to start joining me in the gym.
You know, as much as I enjoyed active competition, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy just calling matches these days. Unfortunately, I gotta sit next to a tool like you, who I hate, despise, and just flat out dislike.
Gee, thanks a lot, Taz. But don't hang up your boots just yet. I've always said that as an announcer, you make a great wrestler. Would you say this match should go down as one of your best, Taz?
Are you kidding? They were all great. How can you expect me to choose between them? I'm the best!
Paul Burchill's somewhat unconventional style comes from the fact that he's descended from pirates. In fact, he claims the legendary Blackbeard is one of his ancestors.
I hate to knock this dude's family and stuff, but what the hell's this got to do with wrestling?
Well, you've got to admit it, Taz. It's a unique look. I think he's one of the better-looking pirate-themed superstars.
I'll tell you what, there's probably a reason for that. So Burchill's supposed to be a pirate, right? Oh, God, please.
Wow, that was pretty bad. Even for you, partner.
Hey, give me a break. Look what you got to work with here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Taz, but Paul Burchill might be the only superstar in WWE history to be able to claim actual pirates as ancestors.
Come on, Cole. You don't seriously believe all that stuff about Burchill being descended from Blackbeard, do you?
Well, he's either telling the truth or he's crazy. And either way, I don't want to be the one to contradict him.
You keep telling yourself that, Cole. One thing I learned in my career is that the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Lashley's got to be careful. He might learn that the hard way tonight.
These fans have certainly rallied around Bobby Lashley, and it's not hard to see why. Lashley's made a name for himself doing exactly that, Taz, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Lashley just needs to stay focused and take care of business right now in that ring. Man, you talk about an American icon, you talk about a real American hero, you just don't get any better than a man right here, Kurt Angle.
Angle certainly represented his country well in the 1996 Olympic Games, where he won his gold medal. But ever since then, I think his accomplishments have gone to his head.
What? How can you say that, Cole? That's more or less un-American. I hope the Department of Homeland Security ain't watching this.
Come on, Taz. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It seems the more Angle accomplishes, and he's accomplished a lot, the more of a jerk he becomes.
I don't even want to have this conversation with you, Cole. If you can't respect a real American hero like Kurt Angle, I can't respect you. Of course, you know, I kind of didn't respect you to begin with, but you know what? That's beside the point.
JBL has every advantage you could possibly ask for in his life. Money, talent, fame, and a natural drive to succeed. And I think that's why it's so disappointing to see him act the way he does.
What are you talking about, Cole? Everything JBL does, he does for the WWE fans. He's rich enough that he doesn't even have to put his body on a line night after night. He does it because he's a man of the people.
Oh, please. He does it because the rush he gets from performing for thousands of WWE fans is something that money can't buy. JBL's on an ego trip. It's as simple as that.
That's a disgusting thing to say, Cole. I'm ashamed to be associated with you. JBL is a humanitarian. He's a regular, a philanthropist. He's like a Rockefeller in the wrestling trucks.
Well, if you're done trying to get yourself written into his will, I think we better just agree to disagree about JBL. As far as I can see, we're looking at two completely different people.
Triple H is the man, Cole. I've been in the ring with this dude, and I'm not ashamed to say he took me to limits, and he got the victory. I got a lot of respect for anyone who could pull that one off.
Wait a second. You're telling me that your entire opinion of the man is based on the fact that he beat you in a match years ago?
Yep, that's my opinion.
But what about the cheating, the lying, the brutal and illegal assaults on fellow superstars? What about the fact that Triple H's lust for power has completely killed whatever conscience he had?
What do you want me to say to you, Cole? What do you want me to say? The game's a competitor. He's a winner. He knows what's going to keep him on top and what's not. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I hate the guy for doing what he's got to do to get ahead.
If I had to pick only one reason why I'm not on Raw, it would have to be Kane. Just being this close to this monster is terrifying. I couldn't imagine having to do it every week.
Hey, Cole, change your underpants and settle down, okay? Me, I like watching Kane tear dudes apart. That's just me. I could watch the Big Red Machine every day of the week. I like this guy, maybe even twice on Sundays.
But the viciousness, the brutality, the complete lack of concern for the welfare of his fellow superstars, whether they're opponents or not, how can you support that?
Hey, Happy, you think you're watching ballet or something? Come on. This is wrestling. This is the WWE. You gotta love watching a superstar take his opponents to the limit. That's exactly what Kane does.
But there's healthy competition and unhealthy competition. Then there's downright dangerous competition. I don't think it's right to ask a superstar to take his life in his hands whenever he faces a monster like Kane.
I don't think there's anything Edge wouldn't do to get what he wants, and that's what I like about this guy.
That's funny, because that's exactly what I can't stand about Edge. He might be a great competitor, but he's a lousy human being.
Hey, I'm not saying I want to be Edge's best friend or nothing, but I love watching this guy in the ring. Are you telling me you'd rather watch a guy who does everything by the book, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, and cares about the rules, more about winning? Come on.
I'd rather watch a superstar who had some sense of sportsmanship, some sense of decency, yes. How can you applaud a man who doesn't care about anyone but himself?
Simple, Cole, because those are the guys who win. There's a lot of superstars out there who pretend to be nice guys, but when it comes right down to it, everyone is looking out for number one. Everyone's looking out for themselves. Edge is honest about that, and I like that.
Ric Flair certainly has earned the nickname the dirtiest player in the game. You can't dispute his accomplishments, but you can take issue with the way he achieved them.
Hey, Cole, ain't you ever heard of the saying, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing? Well, the Nature Boy knows that saying pretty well, and that's exactly why he's a 16-time world champ.
Yes, but if you took away every title reign that began by Ric Flair screwing somebody out of the title, that number wouldn't be nearly as impressive.
Well, I guess that's a good thing for Ric Flair then, wouldn't you say? There's only two types of guys in this business, Cole. This is very simple. There's winners, like Ric Flair, then there's losers like you.
I don't know where Carlito gets off telling people how cool he is. I certainly don't see anything cool about him.
Well, of course you don't, girl pants. You gotta be cool to see cool. You hear that? And that's not you. I just made that up right here. That's pretty cool, right? Don't you think that's cool?
Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back, partner. Who died and made Carlito the judge of what was cool anyway?
No, I don't know, Cole. But they picked the right guy to do the job, I'll tell you that much. As far as I'm concerned, Carlito's doing us all a public service. And at least you could do is show a little gratitude.
I don't know how Raw could allow a monster like Gene Snitsky to compete on their brand.
Simple, Cole. They know that a big, mean dude like Snitsky makes the rest of their guys bring it up just a little bit of a notch. You can't just go through the motions when you're in a match with a guy who wants to rip your head off your body.
Well, I think it's a terrible thing to do to your superstars, just for the sake of a few ratings points.
I never stop being impressed by Kurt Angle, a multi-time WWE champion, an Olympic gold medalist, an Intercontinental United States and WCW champion.
I know, Taz. We've heard it all before. Angle never hesitates to remind us at any opportunity. For a guy who's accomplished as much as he has, Angle seems awfully worried that people are going to forget about his achievements.
Angle ain't afraid of nothing, Cole. If I had that resume, I'd talk about it every chance I got to.
Kurt Angle is such a phenomenal athlete. It's a shame that he feels that he has to bend the rules in order to accomplish his goals.
Are you telling me that he cheated to win that Olympic gold medal he won, Cole? Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely not. But if you look at his WWE career, I think you'd find that he has a casual relationship with the rules at best.
I like JBL's style, Cole. He sets a goal for himself. He tells you exactly what he's going to do. Then he goes right out there and he does it.
Yeah, JBL talks a great game, Taz, but when it comes time to put up or shut up, it seems like he always gets someone else to do his dirty work for him.
Come on, girl pants. I think we're forgetting that JBL held the WWE title for 9 months. That's right, 9 months. And what a title reign it was.
I wonder how JBL's going to try to cheat his way to victory here tonight, Taz.
You're out of line, Cole. And you probably don't want to slander a guy who's got as many lawyers as JBL's got either.
It's not slander if it's true, Taz. And if JBL wants to make an issue of it, I'm sure I can come up with plenty of evidence to support what I said.
You know, a lot of guys call themselves the best in the business, but in Triple H's case, I think he's right on. Man, I'll tell you, I'd love to have him on Smackdown.
You've got to be kidding me, Taz. Triple H has systematically destroyed the Raw roster. He might be the most hated superstar of all time.
Yeah, but don't kid yourself, Cole. The fans tune in every week to see what the game has got on his mind and what the game is going to do to somebody. Let me tell you something. Triple H, he puts butts in the seats.
I think the SmackDown locker room is extremely grateful that Triple H is not a part of it.
Then the SmackDown locker room was full of idiots, Cole. And there ain't no bigger icon in the business today than Triple H. Come on, let's face it.
There's no question that Triple H has been a huge success, Taz. But he stepped over a lot of bodies on his climb to the top.
I know we got his brother, The Undertaker, on SmackDown, but how great would it be if Kane was a SmackDown superstar, Cole? How cool would that be?
I don't think that's a very good idea at all, Taz. As a matter of fact, it's kind of terrifying.
You see, Cole, that's the reason why you would make a horrendous general manager. Someone talks about bringing one of the top superstars in the business to your brand, and you refuse because you think he's too scary?
It's been said before, but that doesn't make it any less true. Kane is pure evil to the core. This monster doesn't care about anyone or anything.
And you say that like it's a bad thing.
No, but there's more to being a WWE superstar than brutalizing your opponents. I don't think Kane knows that. Or if he does, he doesn't care.
Edge is so quick and so deadly. You can't take your eyes off him for 1 second.
And that's doubly true if you're the referee. I don't think Edge has ever met a rule he wouldn't break.
No shame in that, Cole. Like I always say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Edge is such a jerk. I'm amazed that he still has a job on Raw after some of the stuff he's pulled.
Hey, Cole, lighten up a little bit. Maybe he's not got the best attitude in the world, but you gotta admit, he's a heck of a competitor.
That may be true, but I'm not a fan of the way he's been winning his matches lately. And I don't think these fans are either.
I love Ric Flair, Cole, I'm telling you. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I picked up a few moves from the dirtiest player in the game.
Well, there's a legacy for you. How'd you like to be known as the superstar who inspired other superstars to cheat their way to victory?
I think it's great that where Ric Flair is still active in the business after so many successful years. He's still got a lot to teach the younger superstars.
Like what? How to cheat to win a match? How to distract the referee so your partner can take advantage of his opponent? I don't think those are the kind of lessons that need to be handed down, quite frankly.
Someday, Cole, if you work hard at it, you might actually become half as cool as Carlito.
I hope that's never the case. I've seen what Carlito considers cool, and I want no part of it.
Talk about an intimidating dude. Gee whiz. Snitsky's got everything it takes to be a real dominating superstar right here in the WWE.
That's what worries me. I'd hate to have a monster like Snitsky having his run of the place.
Chavo Guerrero always gets a lot of crowd support, but I guess that only makes sense. When you come from the Guerrero family, you're automatically going to have a lot of fans behind you.
Well, and there's the fact that he's a phenomenal superstar in his own right as well.
Oh, sure, no doubt about it. But seriously, not for nothing, when your last name is Guerrero, you're starting out with a huge advantage.
I think you're selling Chavo short, Taz. Chavo might come from a distinguished family of superstars, but I think that's only encouraged him to work even harder to live up to their reputation.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy as well put together as the Masterpiece. He's a real work of art.
Well, I don't know art, but I know what I don't like, and I don't like Master's arrogance. He's got a lot more to accomplish before he's earned the right to be that high on himself, in my opinion.
I tell you, Taz, Ken Kennedy certainly has a high opinion of himself.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Unlike you, this guy's proud of his accomplishments. You have none.
I'm not saying that there is, Taz, but there's a time for talk and there's a time for action.
Do you hear Mr. Kennedy talking right now? 'Cause I sure don't. It looks to me like he's taking your advice. Not that he needed it. Mr. Kennedy, he's got it all. He's got the look, he's great on a stick, and he knows how to get it done in the ring.
Yeah, and if you don't believe it, just ask him. He won't hesitate to tell you how great he is.
Yeah, so? What's wrong with that? Kennedy's the total package. Like you, you're a package.
Without a doubt, Ken Kennedy is one of the most outspoken superstars on the Smackdown roster.
You make it sound like Kennedy's all talk, no action. You're confused, my man. That's you.
Maybe not, Taz, but it's only a matter of time before Kennedy's mouth gets him into some trouble he can't get himself out of.
Mr. Kennedy's my kind of guy. He'll talk smack right to your face, and he can back it up with his body in that ring.
He certainly isn't shy about sharing his opinions, that's for sure. But I, for one, could do without that enormous ego of his. There are a lot of superstars in the back who'd like to shut Ken Kennedy's mouth once and for all.
I ain't disagreeing with you, but there's a huge difference between wanting to do that and being able to pull that off. Mr. Kennedy ain't no pushover, I'm telling you.
Johnny Nitro struts around here like he's God's gift to sports entertainment, and I don't mind telling you that it makes me sick.
'Cause it makes you sick, Cole. Every time you see Nitro, it reminds you of what you're not. Strong, talented, good-looking guy, funny, with a hot chick. You are a tool.
Not to mention obnoxious, arrogant, and completely ethically bankrupt.
Bankrupt? What are you talking about, dummy? What are you talking about? Between his WWE career and his Hollywood connections, I'm sure Nitro takes home a pretty decent paycheck, unlike the pennies you make. Every time I see Johnny Nitro in action, I'm blown away. Hey, let's think about it. He's still just a kid. He's got his whole career ahead of him.
Don't remind me, Taz. I have enough trouble putting up with this obnoxious ass every Friday night. I don't like to think about how much longer that could go on.
Believe me, lady baby, I feel the same way about you, and I'm sure Nitro would agree.
I know that Johnny Nitro is an incredibly talented superstar, but it's almost impossible for me to get past that arrogant attitude of his.
Oh, come on, now that's a pretty unprofessional attitude, wouldn't you say, Michael? Nitro's got all the potential in the world, and even you, actually, gotta respect that.
I respect Nitro's potential, Taz, but as far as I'm concerned, he needs some more experience before he's entitled to an ego like that.
I'll tell you what, right now, on the record, you look at a guy like Johnny Nitro, you might be looking at the future of Smackdown right in front of you.
Could you gush any more about Nitro, Taz? He's got talent, but he's also got a long way to go before he lives up to that kind of hype. If you ask me, I think every fan in this arena is just waiting for the day when Johnny Nitro gets what's coming to him.
Well, actually, I don't believe anybody asked you, so just sit there, look stupid, and be quiet. I like Nitro. He's on his way to gold.
Joey Mercury has certainly made an impact here on SmackDown, but I wonder how successful he would be if he actually made an effort to compete by the rules.
What is with your obsession with following the rules? What about this rule? Not coming on TV looking and acting like a jerk.
There's a difference between bending the rules and breaking them, Taz, and Mercury has shown time and time again that he won't hesitate to do either.
Well, it's like I always say. It's not how you play the game, it's whether you win or lose. And I don't think Mercury would disagree. This Joey Mercury is cocky. Unlike you, Cole, where you just kind of smell like cocky.
You want to take a moment and think about what you just said there, partner?
Oh, you're a riot. You're a regular riot. Why am I not surprised that that's the first place your mind went?
It seems to me like Joey Mercury could use a serious attitude adjustment, and he might just get it here tonight.
I think that's just wishful thinking on your part. Why are you so down on Mercury anyway? What'd this guy ever do to you? Whatever happened to the part of a broadcaster being objective out here?
Objective? That's pretty funny, coming from someone who could pass for Mercury's biggest fan.
Listen closely. Unlike you, this Joey Mercury is a stud, pure and simple. This guy's a pure, great athlete. This kid can go. You are an idiot.
I hate to admit it, Taz, but you're absolutely right. I just wish he could check his ego at the door. It makes me sick when I think of some of the things Joey Mercury has gotten away with around here. He's never met a rule he wouldn't break.
Yeah, but there's no denying it's paying off for him.
Mark Henry is one of the most terrifying individuals to set foot in a WWE ring, and I think it's only a matter of time before he seriously injures someone.
And that's supposed to be a bad thing? Come on, Mikey. How many times am I supposed to tell you this? This ain't ballet.
No one's saying that it is, Taz, but Mark Henry takes everything to new heights of viciousness.
Well, that's one of the perks of being the world's strongest man. Well, I'll tell you this much. There ain't no doubt in my mind that Mark Henry really is the world's strongest man. The power of this guy is purely awesome.
It's downright scary is what it is, Taz. We've seen Mark Henry tear apart superstar after superstar, and I hope we're not about to see more of the same here tonight.
Everyone who gets in the ring with Mark Henry knows exactly what to expect. And if they're dumb enough to do it, then that's their problem.
I'll never understand why Mark Henry resorts to the brutal tactics he uses against his opponents. He's already the world's strongest man. What's he got left to prove?
Well, I guess like most women, you're squeamish. Every time Mark Henry gets in a ring with someone, you got to realize he's sending a message to the whole locker room.
Well, if you ask me, a victory is message enough. There's no need for the senseless brutality that Mark Henry seems to enjoy dishing out.
I'll tell you what right now, I love watching Mark Henry get it done in the ring. There ain't another guy in that locker room who could pick apart an opponent like Mark Henry.
You say that like it's a good thing, Taz. Personally, I wish Henry would focus more on winning matches and less on ending careers. I don't use the word evil lightly, but that's all that comes to mind when I look at Mark Henry and the delight he takes in destroying his fellow superstars.
Evil's just a word that low-lander, low-life losers like you, and you're also a two-face, use to describe people who do whatever it takes to win. I think Mark Henry would take that as a compliment, even from a goof like you.
I don't think there's a rule in the book that Super Crazy won't break if it means picking up the win.
You're probably right about that. But why do you say that like it's a bad thing?
Well, excuse me for sounding old-fashioned, but I guess I just have a certain respect for superstars who earn their victories.
So you think that bending the rules and not getting caught ain't earning it? It's tougher than it sounds, believe you me. I love watching Super Crazy at work. I'm telling you right now, this guy will do absolutely whatever it takes to win the match.
Yeah, and that includes bending the rules to their breaking point.
Quit your whining, girl pants. You sound like an old lady. Who cares if he breaks a few rules here and there? Winning is all that matters.
I think it's only a matter of time before Super Crazy pulls out his usual strategy of cheating to win.
Yeah, Crazy will break rules. This guy comes up with stuff the human body wasn't meant to do.
I have to give him that. Whether or not you respect his methods, you can't help but be impressed with that daredevil style of his.
I'll tell you, I never get tired of watching Super Crazy compete. You can't take your eyes off him.
Yeah, and I hope the referee feels the same way, because Super Crazy has a reputation for stepping outside of the rules, if you know what I mean. I don't think these fans appreciate the liberty Super Crazy takes with the rules, but there's no doubt that he's got an extremely entertaining style of wrestling.
That's what I've been saying. You can't help but like a guy who takes things to the extreme the way Crazy does.
You know, Taz, I wish Gregory Helms had stayed on Raw. He was a fan favorite, and he didn't have the chip on his shoulder that he's got these days.
Yeah, but he was also dressing up like some kind of goofy, crazy superhero. And there ain't no cruiserweight title on Raw.
Well, then maybe I just wish Helms was on Monday night so I wouldn't have to be disgusted by his attitude every Friday.
Hey, Helms did what was right for his career, and he's done a great job of shaking up the cruiserweight division. Personally, I like what he's done for Smackdown. The smartest thing Gregory Helms ever did was getting rid of that stupid, goofy superhero costume he used to wear.
You say that, but quite frankly, I liked Helms a lot better when he was the Hurricane, and I think these fans would agree.
Look, superheroes are fine when you're like 8, or if you have the mental capacity of an 8-year-old. Kind of like you.
I think Gregory Helms lost a lot of fans when he decided not to perform as the Hurricane any longer, and I can't blame them.
2 words, cruiserweight title. That's what Helms is all about, and that's what he wore around his waist right after he decided to shape up and get serious.
I think Helms has been so blinded by championship gold that he can't see what his relentless pursuit of it has done to his personality.
Gregory Helms is one of the most dangerous cruiserweights in the business today. This guy knows about 6 different ways to take you out from any position.
Yeah, and 5 of them require the referee to be looking the other way if he doesn't want to get disqualified. I think it's a shame the way Gregory Helms threw away all of his fan support when he decided to stop being the Hurricane.
I totally disagree with you, Cole. For me, that's when Helms grew up and started to become a real serious competitor right here in the WWE.
You just can't take your eyes off Psychosis for an instant.
Yeah, no kidding. You never know what Psychosis is going to do or when he's going to do it.
Well, there's that too, but I was talking about his tendency to play fast and loose with the rules when the referee isn't looking.
Oh, come on. Will you just give it a rest? So what if the guy bends the rules a little bit? It ain't like you don't go out there and bust his butt and put on a hell of a show. Psychosis is one of those true international superstars. This guy has competed all over the world and made a name for himself wherever he goes.
Yeah, I understand he can break the rules in 20 different languages.
There you go again with that silly little rule-breaking rant. Will you stop already? Why do you always have to be such a goody little two-shoes?
Despite the methods he uses to win matches, there's always a small minority of fans who get behind Psychosis.
You sound surprised. What do you think, everyone is hung up on that stuff as you are?
No, but I'd hope that they'd have a little bit more respect for sportsmanship.
Psychosis made a name for himself back in the day in ECW, and he ain't gotten any less hardcore over the years.
You might be right, Taz, and no disrespect intended, but this is WWE, not ECW, and Psychosis is going to have to step up his game if he wants to make it as a superstar here. Psychosis is one of those superstars you never want to turn your back on.
Hello? You just described every damn superstar in that locker room. If you're dumb enough to take your eyes off your opponent, then you deserve what you get.
Melina is as devious as she is beautiful. She'll do whatever it takes to win.
I kind of like that about her. What is it? You don't have a thing for bad girls?
Try and stay professional here, Taz. I'm trying to call a match. I don't know what you're doing.
No, actually, I was trying to find out if the rumors about you being a robot were true. So far, it looks like they are. Oh, my gosh. Is Melina one of those divas you just can't take your eyes off of, or what?
You certainly can't. Melina will use any underhanded trick in the book to pick up the win.
That's not exactly what I was talking about, but you're not wrong.
You can't underestimate Melina. She's not just another pretty face. She's an incredibly accomplished female competitor.
Yeah, but going back to the pretty face thing for a moment, oh, man. She sure is a sweet little tomato.
You know, Taz, if you keep this up, we're going to have to fit you for a crown and give you some hair plugs.
See, the thing about Melina is, she's, whoa, oh my God. What was I saying?
I think all the blood is drained from your brain to another part of your body, Taz. It's a real shame that a diva as lovely and talented as Melina has to resort to some of the underhanded tactics that she often employs.
Cole, seriously, shut up. I know you ain't got a hope or a chance in hell to get anywhere with Melina, but please, don't ruin my chances by association, okay?
Taz, this Vito is a genuine monster, and he's as ruthless as he is ugly.
Jeez, God, Cole, keep your voice down. Vito ain't the kind of guy that lets stuff like that slide.
Surely you don't think that Vito would beat me up just because I said something unflattering about him?
Are you kidding me? That's what Vito's all about. And if you keep calling me Shirley, you're gonna get yours, girl pants. Hey, listen, I know you're not a big fan of Vito, but I am. I like this dude's smash mouth style.
You're right, I'm not a big fan, Taz. It's one thing to try and win a match, but I think Vito goes into matches looking to end careers.
Well, you end the guy's career, and you don't have to worry about beating him again later. Maybe Vito's onto something.
Vito is absolutely ruthless, and I, for one, hope that he meets his match here tonight.
Let me tell you something right now. I grew up on the streets, and I know a lot of paisans like Vito. And these aren't the type of guys you want to talk smack about, if you get my drift.
Well, I get your drift all right, Taz. But I think Vito's got bigger things to worry about tonight than me.
Yeah, not for nothing. This Vito's a bona fide monster. He'll tear you limb from limb just as soon as you look at him.
You might be alone on that one, Taz. I don't think Vito enjoys much support from these fans here tonight. I hope this referee is paying very close attention here tonight, because Vito will do whatever it takes to win this match.
Yeah. You say that like it's a bad thing.
Lance Cade is a formidable superstar, but tonight he might find out that the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
I think you're selling Cade a little short here, Cole. This guy's a pure powerhouse, and he knows how to use his size to his advantage.
Well, you know the cliche as well as I do, Taz. Size isn't everything.
Yeah, and I know you probably hear that a lot. I'm sure you do. Man, I'll tell you, unlike you, this Lance Cade is a stud. This kid can go.
He certainly can, but Cade has a certain arrogance about him that borders on overconfidence.
Yeah, so the kid's high on himself. So what? As long as he gets it done in the ring, that's all that matters.
I get the feeling that Lance Cade's a lot more in love with himself than these fans are.
So what? The fans ain't always right. I got booed plenty of times in my day, and most of the times I got booed, they were wrong. At the end of the day, people appreciated my abilities.
You sure it wasn't that charming attitude of yours, partner?
Cade's got that roughhouse, smash-mouth style that I love to see in a superstar.
He's impressive in the ring, no doubt about it. And it's a real shame that he feels he has to bend the rules instead of relying on his own natural ability. I hope the referee watches Lance Cade like a hawk, because we've seen the way he'll play fast and loose with the rules if given the opportunity.
Yeah, I hope every rookie in that locker room watches Cade just as close, because he's a textbook example of how to earn your spot around here.
You talk about having a face only a mother could love? That expression could have been coined for Trevor Murdoch.
Hey, look, there's no doubt that Murdoch will never, ever win any beauty contests. He's here to beat down his opponent and pick up wins. He's sure ugly, though.
And there's no doubt that he's made a name for himself doing just that. Although I have to admit, I'm not a fan of his methods.
What's with you, Cole? You don't like his look? You don't like his style? Could you get any more squeamish or what? Trevor Murdoch is a prime example of what you call your classic, prototypical, old-school brawler. He ain't pretty, but he gets it done. He puts a hurting on you.
That's an understatement. I think a chair to the face could only improve Murdoch's looks.
Hey, look, he ain't got much in the looks department, that's for sure, but that just means he ain't got a reason not to put his body on the line in every match, and that's bad news for his opponents.
I can't believe they let Trevor Murdoch compete in public like this. There must be a half a dozen crying children at ringside right now.
Yeah, the reason why these children around ringside are crying is because they're listening to your goofy face.
I was actually referring to his brutal, violent style, Taz, but I'm sure that scowl on Murdoch's face isn't helping matters.
I'll tell you, they broke the mold when they made a superstar like Trevor Murdoch. And what an ugly mold it must have been.
And thank goodness for that. One Trevor Murdoch is quite enough, thank you very much. Trevor Murdoch is a nasty, brutal competitor, and I think these fans would like to see him get his comeuppance here tonight.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll tell you what. I think the WWE fans would like to see and hear you stop saying words like comeuppance. What the hell is that?
Boy, I'll tell you, Taz, this Mickey James is 100% psychopath.
Oh, so what are you, some kind of psychiatrist now? Mickey might act a little nutty and crazy, but I think that's all part of her psyching out her opponents.
Well, if it's all an act, she deserves an Academy Award because she's got me completely convinced.
Good for her. That means she'd have even an easier time kicking your butt. And let me tell you, I'd pay to see that. Man, I'll tell you, this Mickey James, she's supposed to be some kind of a psycho broad and everything, but not for nothing. She's one good-looking tomato.
Easy there, partner. I get the feeling that Mickey might be a little too much for you to handle.
A little too much for me to handle? At least I like girls.
I don't know how they can allow Mickey James to compete. She's clearly unstable and a danger to everyone she gets in the ring against.
Yeah, she's dangerous, all right, Cole, but that's 'cause she's a hell of a competitor. Believe me, this whole crazy thing is just an act. I hope.
Crazy is as crazy does, partner, and we've seen Mickey James pull some pretty crazy stunts around here.
Look, don't call me partner. I'm not your wife.
She's a dangerous woman, to be sure, Taz. You're never sure what she's going to do half the time. I don't even think she knows. I've got to admit, I'm not one of Mickey James' biggest fans. She's a little too unstable for my taste.
Yeah, well, it just so happens that I like my divas with a little edge, Cole, and Mickey's about as edgy and unpredictable as they get.
It's only a matter of time before Candice Michelle tries to cheat in this match, and when she gets caught, she'll try to pretend that she's completely innocent. We've seen it before.
Hey, girl pants, believe me, there's one thing that Candice is not, and that's innocent. And personally, I dig that.
Why do I get the feeling it won't be long before you're working the word puppies into your repertoire, Taz?
I'm begging you to give me a little credit and respect me somewhat, that I'm not going to act like an old washed-up wannabe Taz named Lawler. Candice might still be pretty inexperienced, but I gotta say, I'm impressed with her development so far.
You gotta be kidding me. I don't think I've ever seen her win a match without cheating.
Hey, Cole, you know what? You got enough disadvantages when it comes to picking up women. You don't need to be bad-mouthing them, too.
I'll give Candice Michelle her due, Taz. She's a beautiful young woman. But I'm not sure what business she has as an active competitor.
What are you, blind or something? Look at her.
I'm not saying she's not easy on the eyes, partner, but I question how capable she is of handling herself in active competition.
Did you just call me partner again? You're an idiot.
Taz, you make one more comment like that, and we're fitting you for a crown and having you work Monday nights. Candice is not what you'd call a classically trained wrestler. Sometimes I wonder why she insists on competing in matches.
Hey, the business is called sports entertainment for a reason. I don't know about you, but I'm highly entertained every time I get a look at Candice in action. Ooh, yeah.
It really burns me up that Daivari comes here and has the nerve to complain about other superstars getting an unfair advantage when he's as bad as any of them.
Hey, ease up a little, Cole. This is America, the land of opportunity, right?
Yeah, and Daivari never misses an opportunity to play fast and loose with the rules whenever he can get away with it.
Hey, if the ref don't stop the match, you didn't do nothing wrong. And believe you me, Daivari knows that. I gotta tell you, I don't like Daivari at all, but I like his competitive spirit. He'll do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, including completely disregarding the rules and common decency whenever it suits him.
You gotta do whatever you gotta do to pick up a win, you know what I'm saying? It's important to realize that, and Daivari knows that his opponent don't. Whose fault is that?
I don't mind saying that I hope Daivari gets what's coming to him here tonight.
Geez, Cole, talk about judgmental. What happened to your so-called objectivity?
It's hard to be objective about someone who has no respect for the rules, his fellow superstars, or these fans, Taz.
You know, for a little guy, Daivari sure can go.
I don't question his ability, Taz, but his ethics are another matter altogether. Even if Daivari manages to win this match tonight, I don't think he's going to win over these fans.
Yeah, and I'm sure that really breaks Daivari's heart.
I tell you, Taz, no matter how many times I see the great Khali, I never get used to how enormous he is.
The word giant gets thrown around here a lot, but I'll tell you what, this guy's the real deal.
I can't even begin to imagine where they found a monster like him.
Hey, I have no idea, but I wish I did. When I look at a freak like the great Khali, I'm glad I'm not an active competitor anymore.
Taz, are you seriously admitting that the great Khali intimidates you?
Hey, don't go putting words in my mouth there, buddy. I'm not saying I couldn't beat him. I'm just saying I'm glad I don't have to try.
Tell me, Taz, just how do you approach a match with someone like the great Khali?
Well, the problem is, how do you scout a guy like this? There's not many like him in the world. All you can do is just keep moving and hope he gets tired and doesn't touch you.
And I can only imagine that that's a lot easier said than done. Look at him. He must take up at least a quarter of the ring as it is.
This great Khali is a straight-up monster. I feel sorry for anyone who's got to get in the ring with him.
So do I. You get the feeling Khali isn't here just to win matches. He wants to end careers. Look at the fire in the eyes of the great Khali. He's here to make an impact.
Well, it's not hard to make an impact around here when you're a 7-foot monster.
I don't think I've ever seen a superstar make the kind of impact that Umaga has ever since coming to the WWE.
Oh, he's made some waves for sure. And when you're this large, it's not hard to do.
6'4" and 350 pounds. He truly lives up to his nickname, the Samoan Bulldozer.
Yeah, and if you get in his way, it don't matter how tough you are. Umaga will flatten you like nothing. I'm telling you, Umaga has not been around here for long, but let's face it, he's racked up some impressive victories since he showed up in the WWE.
You're not wrong, partner. He made an impressive debut by utterly destroying the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and nobody's managed to stand in his way for long since then.
That don't surprise me one bit. They call him the Samoan Bulldozer, and let me tell you, that's not just hype.
This Umaga is a monster, plain and simple. I have no earthly idea why he's allowed to compete on Raw.
Come on, what are you talking about? Don't be such a pansy. I know I'm not the only fan of Umaga's smash mouth style.
I have no problem with that. As you said many times, this isn't ballet, but I don't think Umaga's here to compete. I think he's here to hurt people as badly as he can.
I'll tell you, I've never been in Samoa, but after watching Umaga in action, I'm not in a hurry to go.
You and me both, partner. We've heard that Umaga is one of a kind, and for the sake of the rest of the WWE superstars, let's hope that's true. There's so much we don't know about the vicious Samoan Bulldozer known as Umaga.
He's 6'4", 350 pounds, and he'd just as soon tear your head right off your body. What more do you need to know?
Finlay has certainly established himself in very short order as one of the toughest superstars SmackDown has ever seen.
You're not kidding. I wonder if all English dudes are as tough as him.
English? Taz, he dresses in green. He wears a shamrock. He carries a shillelagh to the ring, and he has that little bastard doing his dirty work. He's Irish, not English.
Easy now, easy there, genius. I know our geography isn't my strong suit. Big deal. But I bet Finlay don't know the difference between Manhattan and Brooklyn. And let me tell you something. Finlay, in my opinion, is one of the toughest SOBs I've ever seen in this business.
There's no questioning Finlay's toughness or that mean streak that runs straight through him. He can be downright sadistic to his opponents.
Oh, God, cry me a river, girl pants, please. I'm begging you to man up. In case you haven't noticed, you gotta do whatever it takes to win around here, and that's what Finlay does best.
Finlay hails from Belfast, Ireland, and if you know anything about Belfast, you'll understand how Finlay turned out to be as tough as he is.
Oh, yeah, Belfast. That's a pretty tough town, eh?
That's an understatement, partner. Belfast makes Red Hook look like Disneyland.
This Finlay is so tough, so aggressive, so ruthless. I love watching this guy go to work.
And you'd think that someone with all the tools that Finlay has at his disposal wouldn't need to step outside the rules as often as he does. But we've seen time and time again, he'll do whatever it takes to win. When you think of how many years Finlay has been in this business, it's amazing that he can still compete at the level he does.
No kidding. He's taking real good care of himself. He's in fine fickle, as they say.